Okay, Dan, I want to give you some quick tips on how you can improve the communication and the speed at which this information is digested by your viewers, and give you some tips on how to align things in this design. First of all, I'm going to suggest that you want to get rid of this whole section over here. It's too confusing. Um, Things are kind of out of order, and my eyes got to go back and forth, and so on. So, what I'm going to suggest is that you find a way to say this in fewer words and bring those words down underneath that particular element. So let's look at the tools that you can use to align these things. And we'll also try to solve your problem with everything being sort of rotated funny here too. Jump into After Effects. First thing I want you to do is hold down Control or Command if you're on a Mac and press the R key, and that's going to show you the rulers. Now, inside the rulers, if you place your cursor, your mouse inside the rulers, start dragging down. Click and drag, and you're going to drag out a guide. Let's take that guide and put it right down there somewhere. Okay. Now I'm going to get the selection tool. That's the arrow up here, and it's probably the one you have selected already. Grab the first one, bring it down, and it will snap to that guide. Second one, third one. Okay, wonderful. Now there's a problem that you'll notice. There's this target icon over here to the right. That is the anchor point for this particular item. Well, we really would like for that anchor point to be at the bottom center of this object. How do we fix that? It's very simple. We're going to select all of these objects by dragging a box around them, or you can press Control A, and you can see the three anchor points appear for these things. There's a keyboard shortcut. Control or Command, Alt or Option, and the Home key. Control, Alt, Home, or Command, Option, Home if you're on a Mac. And you'll see that now the anchor point goes right to the center. Now, why is that a help for us? Well, I'm going to press the R key for rotation just so you can see the objects are going to rotate around that anchor point. You've got everything a little bit rotated. My guess is that they all were rotated at the same time, or maybe you had an object and you duplicated it and it had the same problem. Anyway, this will help you to rotate everything to the correct orientation of 0 right here. So we'll set that to 0 and get those right. Now, in addition, I know that you've got some animation going on, and what you'd like for these objects to do is to grow from the bottom. I don't know exactly how you animated these, but let's say you were using scale to animate them. Okay, so if I press the S key for scale, I'm going to unlock or unconstrain these items because I only want to use the vertical scale function. So I'm going to press the anchor point for each of these. So now when I adjust the vertical scale, you'll see that they scale from the center. Well, that's not what we want, okay? We'll undo, Control or Command Z. What we need to do is to move the anchor point to the bottom. So if you go up and choose the Pan Behind tool, we need to deselect now. So Control or Command Shift A to deselect, or you can just say Edit Deselect. Where's that? Deselect all. You can do that. Well, let's go back to the Pan Behind tool here, and we'll select one of these items. And now we can grab, this is the Pan Behind tool. Here's our anchor point. We're going to drag this to the bottom. If you hold shift, it will constrain to the center, and it will also snap to this guide that we've created. Let's grab the next one. Grab that anchor point, hold shift to constrain, goes right to the bottom. Select the next guy here, drag, hold shift, right to the bottom. Okay, now let's see what happens. We're going to select them all. And if we work with the scale again, we can see that they are now scaling from the baseline, the very bottom. Okay, if we did these individually, right, you can see how you can animate these things very easily. So we still have a problem with alignment. We want these things to be aligned with each other and distributed perfectly between them. So let's look at this set of functions over here called align. If you can't see align, just jump over here to Window, Align, and it will pop that little dialog up for you over here. So right now we only see align. It would be really helpful if we could see distribute also. In order to distribute, we need to have them all selected. So again, Control or Command A to select them all, and we can see distribute. We're looking for distribute horizontally. There it is. Now they are perfectly aligned. And if you want, you had the key over here on this side. Maybe you can move the title over here, or perhaps you can move these guys all to this side and put your title on this side. I don't know how you want to do this. It's up to you to do. Now, if we want to move them to the absolute center, that gets a little bit tricky, okay? One trick I could give you here is to turn on the title and action safe. So the little icon down here looks like a sort of a little target. Turn on title action safe, and that will put a little cross right in the center of the screen. So you could drag out a guide if you like to help you out a little bit with this. Put that absolutely in the center, and then we can drag these guys and they will snap to that guide. So everything is now perfectly centered. Not saying you have to perfectly center things. Sometimes that's pretty boring actually. But anyway, hopefully that gives you some idea of how you could organize this stuff and easily repair some of the problems you've got going on. So good luck, have fun. Let me know if you have questions.